The Daily Mail found some councils have introduced new guidance in which they state teachers should not randomly pick on pupils to answer a question in class. Suffolk County Council in particular are hoping that if they do implement this policy, it might help tackle emotional-based school absence, which is different from truancy. EBS it's called. It's when pupils are just too anxious or too overwhelmed to come into the classroom or the school buildings. But isn't the fear of being chosen to answer a question part of what keeps you awake in the classroom? Some experts say the move could produce a generation of children unprepared for real life. So who should I randomly select from my panel to speak about this?
And
I've got his hand up because he's a goody-goody. He's a goody-goody. Let me go. I'm going to choose Nikki, who hasn't got his hand up.
Well, I used to sweat, like maybe Prince Andrew didn't sweat, all the time when I was expecting someone to ask me a question. But actually, it set me up for life. In many, many ways, when you're asked those random questions, you have to think on your feet, like we are today. Actually, it's a really, really good thing. It allows you to have a conversation, it allows you to come up quickly with the answer. And if you get the answer wrong, then you learn what the actual answer is, and actually
It's not like that, it's horrible.
No, I think it's fine
I was
to
that
do
child.
so.
I was that child. I would dread going to physics. I would still have, honestly, just even thinking about it and think, he's going to come to me, and he would. And believe it or not, I'd always get the answer wrong, and all the kids would laugh. It was horrible. It drives your anxiety. It's horrible for children.
I felt anxiety,
sorry.
Narinder,
but
actually,
I would get it wrong, and then all the children would laugh. Then they'd all laugh in the playground. Narinder got it wrong, Narinder, and it was horrible.
What about the idea, though, that because you feared getting it wrong, you might, heaven forbid, one day get it right? Because you might have done the homework, you might have read the stuff, you might have paid attention.
I didn't get it right.
It's just a feeling when you got it right. It's actually a really euphoric feeling, and you felt, actually, I've achieved something today, so that's not a bad thing.
I think teachers going around randomly picking when they know a child could be nervous and you don't understand the anxiety. You do your podcast about anxiety. It's horrible, and your daughter speaks so well about it. It's horrible for children. They're little kids. I remember that feeling, and you can't just randomly pick.
Let's ask Nick about this. Were you someone with your hand up dying to answer or not?
I wanted to answer, but I was always a bit scared that I wouldn't have the right one. And like Narinder said, maybe, I might be chastised by people. But actually, I found it quite empowering when I got it right. Yeah. And when I got it wrong, I was like, actually, I need to learn something. And I took away from it. I never, ever would sort of pick someone out and say, oh, my God, you didn't get that right, and kind of laugh at them. I never would do that because that's not who I am, not from a bullying point of view. And I think, as you get older, wherever you are, whether you go to university, whether you're not at university, people will ask you random questions left, right and centre and see whether you've got the facts, etc. So it's really good to start off very early to understand that that's what you need to do.
I went to this, I was invited once to this sort of high-powered lunch, and God knows why they invited me. I had no idea. And then suddenly they said, right, we're going to go round the table and everyone has to give some really informed view about, I don't know what it was, the state of the economy or something. I had absolutely no idea, none at all. And I was just thinking, oh my God, don't come to me because I don't know what to say. And I want to say to this old bigwig next to me, what's the answer? Give me a quick,
what did you say?
Where are the Coles notes on this? Because I don't know what to say. When they finally got to me, I said something funny because I didn't know a serious answer. And then I was thinking, I've said something funny, move on.
But you're an adult and you're experienced.
God, but I didn't know what to say.
You only get good, Narinder, if you have practice.
Exactly.
And can we stop medicalising normal emotions that humans go through? If someone asks you a question on the spot, that is not anxiety. If you're a bit upset about something, that is not depression.
This is children. I'm talking about children. I agree with you.
Narinder,
this is kids.
This is silly.
You won't know it all at school. I wasn't.
It was not a traumatic experience for you.
It was such a traumatic experience.
Do you know what trauma means? Can we use the right words when we describe things?
You go to school 5 days a week, Monday to Friday, and every single classroom, the teacher's picking on you, or not, pointing at you, and I still get shaky feelings thinking about that because I'd start sweating and dying.
Narinder, you need to pull yourself together.
I'm a strong person.
She's going to the bottom of the class.
Pull yourself together. I think they should be doing more of it. It's a great way to get better at things. When you worry about something, you don't want it to happen next time, so you take steps to stop it from happening.
Unless you feel such panic inside that when the teacher chooses you, your mind goes in. I mean, I'll tell you the other thing. I did that blinking weakest link, with Ramesh, and I was so terrified. Honestly,
you can't hear the questions either.
You can't hear the question. That's right.
Yes.
My mind, I could hear the blood pumping in my brain, going pump, 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 and I was thinking, what did he say? What did he say? And then I was like, oh my God! It was, those things. When you're an adult, it hardly ever happens to you. And when you're in that situation, you suddenly remember what it's like to be a defenseless, innocent child being asked some terribly difficult question that you don't know the answer to. It's horrible. Let's go to although I did very well.
Of course.
course he did.
But you know who absolutely slaughtered me and beat I was in the final
was
with
it?
Matt Allwright. And guess what that is? Nominative determinism. He got everything right because he's Matt Allwright and he gets everything right. And he does. He got every single question right the entire day. He deserved. He was a worthy winner. Let's go to Susan in Hampshire. Susan, what do you think of teachers picking on this person and that child to answer a question?
Oh, hi. Everyone. I have just retired, having been a TA for 19 years.
Oh, so you've got a real insight into this. So what do you think?
Well, yes, it was a huge comprehensive secondary school with a high number of SEN students and students suffering from anxiety. And the teachers were always made aware as to, obviously, who the SEN and the anxious students were. Yep. And so they would never, ever pick on them to save that trauma. They would push students that they knew that they would have to push because they were, dare I say, bright enough to be pushed, just to give them the confidence to answer the questions because the teacher actually knew that they would probably get it right in the first place. So I think most schools, in my experience, already do this. And so if any teacher out there is cold calling on a anxious, vulnerable student, then something needs to change.
Well, thank you for the call. What an interesting call. So it's already happening. And I suppose...
I thought it would be.
Yes, and I suppose it will be part of teachers' training, and I suppose it will be also an intuitive thing. You think, well, if I ask that child, they'll be so upset, I won't ask them. And that's a kind of decent, sensible thing to do. Excellent call. Thank you so much. Such a helpful call. Let's go to Melanie in Manchester. How do you feel about this, Melanie?
Hi. Well, I taught adults, and my sister taught primary school. So what... it's part of life. I don't mean being like picked on, and teachers don't do that. It's very different to when we were there. I'm in my mid-50s. It's very different to when we were at school. They use different methods now, different teaching methods, different learning methods. And like the other caller was saying, they have the Senkos to, so they know the kids, and they wouldn't just single out somebody. They may encourage and scaffold somebody, and especially if they believe that they could answer this question. They might get them in groups or, put them in pairs and that, so they feel more confident talking. There's so many different ways they do it now that, they wouldn't be singling somebody out like Narinder used to feel. Yeah. They just wouldn't do that.
Not happening anymore. I like your use of the word scaffold.
Yes.
Melanie, the word scaffold as a verb. I've never heard someone scaffolding someone else before, but I'm going to use it this afternoon. I'm determined to use it that way. So you mean to kind of build a framework of support around someone, to scaffold them?
That's right.
How lovely. What a lovely word. What a lovely use of a word. Thank you so much for calling. We can see that you're a gifted teacher. It's quite clear. Let's go to Pamela in Manchester. Pamela, you are old school at school.
Hello.
Hi.
Good morning, Vanessa.
Hello.
Yes, I'm 80 years of age.
Yes.
If I was going to school now, I would be shaking in my boots if I thought for 1 minute a teacher was going to be pointing at me to ask me and tell her I had to give the right answer. What's wrong with the old-fashioned way? With anyone who knows the answer, hands up.
Me, miss, me.
Yes. That's
Albie. But they're the people that need the least help with education. And actually, by putting people on the spot, you're giving people the opportunity who might know the answer to say the answer, but they're too worried to put their hand up.
And those people who are quite timid.
Have we ever considered that?
I was pretty timid. I wanted to, and I thought I knew the answer, but I was too scared to actually put my hand up.
But they just write the answer.
And I used to get angry, though, with the teachers for always picking on the person who they knew would actually answer it properly. I was kind of quite thankful when I was like, yes, I can answer this. And if it was wrong, I'd be fine.
Yeah, so Pamela, we think that the same children put their hands up all the time and the others don't, you see, that way round.
But at the end of the day, if somebody else puts their hands up and answers that question and you did know the right answer, it makes you feel good in yourself.
Yes, I agree.
So you think stick with the traditional put your hand up if you know the answer method. I remember like holding on to the edge of the chair like, me.
I knew Vanessa would be that. That's
And they never choose you when you're doing that me meeting. Never, miss, me.
Did they like this panel?
They never choose
Not going
you.
to you.
To be honest, I think I'd use your one when you went on that big, with all those people around you. I used to just make jokes.
Oh,
and
did you?
that would be it. I'd make something funny, make the teachers laugh, and they'd forget about it. And
They
give me a
forget
good
about the fact that
grade.
you didn't know
Yeah.
it.